Hello and welcome to my Minesweeper efficiency guide, saving clicks. In this video I'm going to go over various methods you can use to solve boards more efficiently and look at where and why you should place flags and chords in order to save clicks when playing for efficiency. Before we get started on that, let's quickly establish what I'm talking about in case you don't know. Efficiency is about beating a Minesweeper board in as few clicks as possible, defined by the 3BV of the board divided by the number of clicks used to solve it. If you consider the best method of beating a board with no flags, the best you can do is 100% by first clicking on all the openings, 1 and 2, and then clicking on every other tile that's not covered by an opening. So in this case, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get 6 clicks here, and it's a 6-3BV board. You get 100% with no flags. In order to go over 100%, it is necessary to use chords to save clicks. Every flag that doesn't clear at least 2 3BV, that is a tile that can't be revealed by clicking on an opening with a chord, is a wasted click. And if it doesn't clear at least 3, then it isn't better than using no flags. Let's start off by looking at some examples. In this image, we have a mine on this top square, and by flagging it, we can chord the 1 here and reveal the 3 squares, saving a click in the process. Because we have 1 flag and 1 click to clear 1, 2, 3 squares. Over clicking these 3 squares, it saves 1. Next example, we have a mine in the corner next to a 1. We can go in and flag this corner 1 here, and then chord the 1 for a very satisfying 4 squares cleared for 2 clicks. And then here's another example where we have that same pattern that we just saw in the middle of the board. In this scenario, we can use the 1, 3, 1 corner here to solve the same pattern we just looked at and chord that for a nice chord, which will likely follow on with more chords too. Setting flags in places where they can be used multiple times is very important in Minesweeper. So let's look at some examples of doing that. Not every chord is going to be net positive and clicks saved right away. Sometimes you need to think about how the flags you place can set you up to save clicks later, and look for flags that will likely get chorded multiple times. One easy way to get multiple chords off a single flag is to place it in the middle of a line of 1s. In this example, you can see placing the flag in the middle and chording off it on both sides will clear this section in 3 clicks instead of 4. It's a small gain, but stuff like this is easy to overlook when rushing through games, so be sure to always look out for it and not miss out on easy saved clicks. Often, you will need to decide between 2 chords that seem to do the same thing, but where only one option has potential to save clicks. In this case, you could flag either the left or right side of this block, and it would seem to have the same result, but that isn't necessarily the case. Looking at the best case scenario, where you assume the bottom cells that we don't know about contain no mines at all, these tiles would be the 1s and these would be the 2s. Chording the right side would reveal a 2 next to the flag, which would be unusable no matter what. But going from the left side, you would reveal a 1, which could lead into an immediate follow-up to chord and clear the bottom 3 cells. So you should always go for that, even if it's not guaranteed, because the alternative where there are mines doesn't cost anything compared to going full NF. Another factor to consider is how likely you are to get follow-up chords, and especially safe follow-ups that aren't likely to lead to more openings. In this example, you have a prime candidate for such a chord, where we have a bunch of mines spaced evenly around this 313, making a follow-up very likely. In order to get a good follow-up from this chord, we would need one of the revealed cells to be a 2, which in this example is likely because the cell would only be next to 3 unknowns, which on intermediate at least means all are empty more often than not. And there's 2 chances to hit on a 2 on these dots, so getting a follow-up is pretty likely. So flagging the 1 here and chording it would be the best option to hope for a follow-up. And if you do get a 2, it's really good because the flags on the 3s used to follow that up could also lead into more chords from there, and you can cascade into a lot of clicks saved. Thinking ahead and considering all possibilities can give you an edge with efficiency. In this example, we know that everything except for the bottom square is safe. So again, if we assume that it is, without needing to guess there, we can clear this section very efficiently. First, you can work out what every number would be if they were uncovered and use that info to calculate what the best move would be. Here you can see the leftmost cell would be a 2 and everything else would be 1s. So the best thing to do would be to uncover the bottom cell and hope for 1. Then if you get it, proceed to chord, then do a follow-up chord to clear the rest of the area and clear everything in 4 clicks instead of 6. Sometimes the best move isn't apparent right away, and you'll want to uncover a cell that reveals info about an area to decide what the best move to make is, ideally without losing out on any potential chords by going for the move. In other words, go for an info click. On this board you can see that there are 2 safe moves and some known mines, but not many good, safe, efficient clicks. There is a possibility to get a nice chord off of this too, if the cell under it is a mine, but right now we don't know if it is or not, so we can't go for it without risking the whole game. But there is a solution. If you consider this blue cell under the 2, we can open this because we know it's safe and it's guaranteed to give us info about the orange cell that we're concerned with. If it's a 3, we'll know that's a mine and can continue with the chord we were considering earlier, and if it's a 4, the orange cell is safe and would have to do something else. In this case we get a 3 here, so you can go on to chord and flag the 2 and save some clicks. And if you're lucky, you get a 1 under the 2 to chord it off it again. Continuing off from the same board, we can ask what would be the best way to solve this top right section. Looking at the known mines, we know that to the left of the 1 in the center is a 50-50 with the current info we have, and the squares to the bottom right of those are safe. One way it could be solved is to take a guess on the 50-50 and chord the 1s to clear the rest of the board in 3 clicks, which would be efficient but also risky. So is there a way to possibly clear the board in as many clicks without risking the game? If you uncover the safe blue tile, you can either get a 1 or a 2, depending on which orange cell is a mine. In this case, if we go for the 1, we can clear the board in 3 clicks, which is exactly as good as we could have done by taking the risk on the 50-50. So going for this move would be the most efficient move while also being safe if we get the correct RNG. Finally, I want to touch on a few things that weren't covered by the video. My first note is to watch out for openings. Something not covered in this video that is important for efficiency play is being able to spot openings and clear them without wasting a bunch of clicks going for them. If you have a guaranteed opening, then it's probably best to go for it 95% of the time, but other times it's not always so clear. Personally, I recommend always going for the corners at the start of the game because you'll most likely get openings there, and then during the game, go for openings near edges, especially if you're, say, 60 to 70% likely to get an opening on that particular tile. You can see my video I made on openings for more info on how to identify and estimate how likely they are to appear. Another thing to note is that sometimes you have to take risks when playing Minesweeper. All the examples I covered in this video were ones where you didn't have to guess at all, but that isn't always going to be the case. Very often, to get the best efficiency scores, you will need to take some risks to get more efficient moves, and it's going to depend on how much risk you're willing to take to decide when you want to guess or whether to go for certain openings that may or may not be there. It's impossible to give an objective judgment on when you should guess or not, but having a good understanding on how different mine probabilities work will make it easy to decide what guesses are worth going for and when to play it safe. And then my last big piece of advice is just to think through every single move. Basically, for new players trying to improve efficiency, simply think through every move before you make it. It's easy to miss out on a lot of efficient clicks when rushing through or making decisions quickly without considering any other options. Just remember, when you see a board, before going for a simple chord that seems decent, think through all the possibilities, plan ahead what possible follow-on chords you could get from your flags, etc. Every click matters, so always be looking to make sure you save as many as possible. Okay, and that is the end of my Minesweeper efficiency guide video. Thank you for watching, and hopefully some people found this interesting or useful. I tried to keep it pretty short and just cover kind of the basic things. I would say if you want more help doing efficiency stuff, I'd say try and just, practice your games and, go through your replays, try and look through potential mistakes or ways that you could have done better. And keep in mind that not every game is even going to be possible to get a high efficiency score. So if you're not getting like really good scores every game, don't worry too much about that. Just keep playing and hope you get a good board, or you can get a lot of good efficient clicks. And then if you want more help, I would say look at the Discord, the Minesweeper community Discord. Join that, and then you'll find a lot of people there who know a lot about efficiency and should be able to help you. So yeah, hopefully you found that cool and interesting, and I'll see you guys for the next one maybe.